While most pocket change gets spent without a second thought, some coins hiding in plain sight are worth thousands, even millions, more than their face value. Today we're examining two dimes that could transform an ordinary coin collector into an overnight sensation: the enigmatic 1965 Roosevelt dime and the surprising 2001 Roosevelt dime. Both worth mere cents at face value, but under specific circumstances, worth fortunes to the right collector. Let's dive into the fascinating world of these overlooked treasures that might be sitting in your change jar right now. Our first featured coin takes us back to the mid-1960s, a pivotal moment in American numismatic history. The 1965 Roosevelt dime represents one of the most significant transitional eras in modern U.S. coinage, and its story begins with a nationwide coin shortage that forced dramatic changes to how our money was made. By 1964, the United States was facing a severe coin shortage. Silver prices were rising, and people began hoarding silver coins for their precious metal content rather than using them in commerce. The government solution was monumental. The Coinage Act of 1965 mandated a fundamental change in composition for dimes and quarters, replacing the 90% silver content with a copper-nickel clad composition. This transition from silver to clad coinage was supposed to be clean and clear-cut. According to the U.S. Mint's directive, all 1964 dimes would be struck in 90% silver, while all 1965 dimes would use the new clad composition. But in the chaos of this massive production shift, something extraordinary happened. A small number of 1965 Roosevelt dimes were accidentally struck on 90% silver planchets instead of the new clad blanks. These are what numismatists call transitional errors, coins struck with the wrong composition during a year when materials were changing. What makes these pieces particularly fascinating is that they're essentially the last silver dimes that shouldn't exist. Identifying a genuine silver 1965 dime requires attention to detail. The most reliable method is weighing the coin. A standard clad 1965 dime should weigh approximately 2.27 grams, while a silver 1965 dime will weigh about 2.5 grams. That seemingly minor difference of 0.23 grams represents an exponential increase in value. The silver version will also have a different ring when dropped onto a hard surface, producing that distinct ping characteristic of silver coins rather than the duller sound of clad pieces. Edge examination is another crucial identification method. A genuine silver dime will show a solid silver edge, while the clad version displays a distinctive copper sandwich layer between two nickel-clad outer layers. Under magnification, this difference becomes quite apparent. The market value of these transitional error coins is nothing short of astonishing. While a standard 1965 clad Roosevelt dime is worth only its face value of 10 cents in circulated condition, a confirmed silver 1965 dime can command anywhere from $4,000 to $7,500 depending on its condition. In 2019, a particularly well-preserved specimen graded MS-67 by PCGS sold at auction for an astounding $9,600, nearly 1,000 times its weight in silver. What makes these coins particularly valuable to serious collectors is their extreme rarity combined with historical significance. Numismatic experts estimate that fewer than 25 authentic silver 1965 dimes exist, with some suggesting the number might be as low as 12 to 15 specimens. Each authenticated example represents a tangible artifact from a pivotal moment in American monetary history. The condition of these rare transitional errors dramatically affects their value. A circulated example showing moderate wear might fetch $4,000 to $5,000, while an uncirculated specimen with minimal contact marks could easily command $7,000 or more. The highest graded examples, those with pristine surfaces, full luster, and sharp strikes, can reach five-figure prices at specialized numismatic auctions. The story behind how these errors occurred adds another fascinating dimension to their allure. During the transition to clad coinage in late 1964, the Philadelphia Mint was simultaneously producing the final silver dimes dated 1964 and preparing for production of the new clad dimes dated 1965. Amid this changeover, a small batch of silver planchets apparently remained in the production line or feeding tubes. When production of 1965 dated coins began, these leftover silver blanks were fed into the presses, creating the rare silver 1965 dimes. What's particularly intriguing about these coins is how they escaped the mint's quality control processes. The U.S. Mint typically has rigorous procedures to prevent such errors, including weighing coins before release. However, in the chaos of implementing the new clad coinage program and handling the massive production volumes needed to address the coin shortage, these few specimens slipped through undetected. There's also an element of mystery surrounding these coins. Some numismatic researchers have suggested that the silver 1965 dimes weren't genuine accidents but rather deliberately created by Mint employees as souvenirs of the historic transition. This theory, while controversial, adds another layer of intrigue to their story. The Mint has never officially acknowledged creating these coins intentionally, maintaining that they were unintended errors. For collectors, part of the thrill of hunting for a silver 1965 dime is that they could theoretically still be found in circulation. While extraordinarily unlikely, it's not impossible that some examples remain undiscovered in old collections, forgotten coin jars, or even occasionally in change. Most have likely been identified and removed from circulation, but the potential for discovery keeps the hunt exciting. Authentication is critical with these valuable transitional errors. Due to their high value, silver 1965 dimes have been targeted by counterfeiters. Some fraudsters have even gone so far as to plate regular clad 1965 dimes with silver or alter the dates on genuine silver 1964 dimes. Professional grading and authentication by services like PCGS or NGC is essential before making any significant purchase or celebrating a potential discovery. These services use specialized equipment to verify weight, composition, and other characteristics that can definitively identify genuine examples. For the passionate collector, owning a silver 1965 Roosevelt dime represents possessing a genuine numismatic unicorn, a coin that, according to official Mint records, shouldn't exist at all. It embodies a pivotal moment in American coinage history when our everyday money fundamentally changed in response to economic pressures and evolving national needs. Finally, let's explore our fifth remarkable Roosevelt dime, the 2001 Wounded Die Roosevelt dime. This fascinating modern variety perfectly illustrates how even in the computer-controlled, high-tech minting environment of the 21st century, extraordinary aberrations can still occur. The 2001 Wounded Die dime features distinctive raised lines across Roosevelt's portrait that resemble scratches or scars, hence the evocative nickname. These lines aren't post-mint damage but rather raised elements on the coin itself, created when the die used to strike these coins developed cracks or gouges. As minting continued with this damaged die, every subsequent coin received these distinctive marks, creating a collectible variety. What makes this error particularly interesting is the visual impact it creates. The raised lines across Roosevelt's face create an almost artistic effect, as though someone deliberately altered the classic design. The most dramatic examples show multiple prominent lines running diagonally across Roosevelt's cheek, forehead, and hair, creating a striking visual that's immediately apparent even to non-collectors. The historical context of this variety provides fascinating insights into mint operations. By 2001, the Philadelphia Mint was operating under tremendous pressure to produce circulation coinage efficiently and economically. Dies were often used beyond their optimal lifespan to maximize production and minimize costs. This economic pressure sometimes resulted in dies continuing in service even after they had begun to deteriorate or sustain damage, precisely the scenario that created our Wounded Die dimes. From a collecting perspective, these coins occupy an interesting middle ground in terms of rarity and value. They're not as scarce as our 1968 No-S proof dime, but they're significantly rarer than standard 2001 dimes. Numismatic experts estimate that perhaps 5,000 to 7,000 examples exist across all grades, with most showing moderate to heavy circulation wear. The scarcity becomes more pronounced in higher grades, with genuinely uncirculated specimens being quite uncommon. Market values reflect this interesting position. Circulated examples in VF20 to EF40 condition typically sell for $30 to $60, while uncirculated MS63 specimens command $150 to $250. The premium grows substantially for gems, with MS65 examples fetching $400 to $600 and the rare MS67 specimens bringing $1,200 to $2,000 at specialized auctions. The most exceptional examples, showing particularly dramatic die breaks in superb gem condition, have occasionally surpassed $3,000. Authentication requires careful examination. The genuine wounded die variety shows raised lines that are part of the coin itself, not ink-use scratches from damage. These lines maintain consistent positions across different examples struck from the same damaged die, though the intensity of the marks may vary as the die continued to deteriorate during its use. Magnification helps differentiate these mint-created features from post-mint damage or alteration. What makes this variety particularly appealing to collectors is its discoverability. Unlike some of our other examples that required special access or purchasing specific mint products, the 2001 wounded die dimes entered general circulation. Even today, over 2 decades later, sharp-eyed collectors occasionally report finding examples in pocket change, bank rolls, or coin-counting machine rejects. This accessibility creates the perpetual possibility of discovery that fuels the enthusiasm of many collectors. There's also something uniquely appealing about the name itself. While many numismatic varieties have technical designations, double dies, repunched mint marks, etc., the evocative, wounded die nickname creates an instant mental image and connects to the human element of coin production. It reminds us that despite all the technology and precision engineering, coins are still physical objects created through industrial processes subject to wear, damage, and imperfection. The 2001 wounded die dime also represents an interesting moment in the evolution of error and variety collecting. In earlier decades, such minor die breaks might have been overlooked or dismissed as insignificant. However, by the early 2000s, the variety collecting community had become much more sophisticated, with specialized publications, online forums, and research groups dedicated to documenting even subtle varieties. This increased focus helped establish the wounded die dime as a recognized and sought-after modern variety. Condition factors for these coins follow standard considerations for modern dimes, with a few important nuances. The clarity and prominence of the die break lines become a crucial value factor beyond the normal grade. 2 specimens might both grade MS65, but the example showing more dramatic, clearly defined die breaks will command a significant premium over one with subtler markings. This creates an interesting subjective element to valuation that isn't captured by technical grading alone. For beginning collectors, the 2001 wounded die dime offers an accessible entry point into variety collecting. Unlike some varieties that require specialized knowledge or equipment to detect, these distinctive raised lines are visible to the naked eye, especially under good lighting. This makes them ideal gateway coins that can spark interest in more subtle varieties and errors, potentially launching a lifelong fascination with the nuances of minting processes and the treasures they sometimes produce. The legacy of the 2001 wounded die dime extends beyond its individual value to emphasize a broader truth about numismatics. In every era, under every production regime, with every technological advancement, coins continue to capture moments of imperfection and variation. These anomalies connect us to the physical reality of coin production and remind us that behind every coin lies a complex manufacturing process with countless opportunities for fascinating deviations from the intended design. To bring our journey full circle, these 5 Roosevelt dimes, from 1977, 2004, 2007, 1968, and 2001, collectively demonstrate why modern coin collecting remains vibrant and exciting. Far from being a hobby focused solely on ancient or classic issues, numismatics continues to reward those who pay close attention to the coins of our own time. The potential for discovery lurks in every handful of change, every bank roll, every coin jar gathering dust in the corner. These modern treasures also tell a broader story about valuation and collecting psychology. What transforms an ordinary dime worth 10 cents into a treasure worth thousands isn't just rarity, though that certainly plays a role. It's the combination of rarity, historical significance, visual appeal, and the human stories behind each discovery. These factors create the magnetism that attracts collectors and drives markets. So next time you receive change from a purchase, take a moment to look a little closer. Check the dates, examine the details, and remember the stories we've shared today. You might not find a 1968 no-S-proof dime, that would require extraordinary luck indeed, but the possibility exists that something special might be hiding in plain sight, waiting for an observant eye to recognize its true significance. After all, that's the enduring appeal of coin collecting: ordinary objects with extraordinary stories, connections to history, and occasional hidden value far beyond their humble face value.